Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
Edginess.
Come and fly away with me. 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 Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die, so come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me.
Hi, how are you?
Come and fly away.
Hi, how are you?
Come and fly.
Hi, how are you?
Come and fly away with me. 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 Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die, so come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising.
Hi, how are you?
Do 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 do. Oh, also hi Scott.
Hi, Jackson.
Hi, how are you?
What?
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
Hi,
that's
how are you?
why.
I don't feel so good.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Somewhere in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still at the
Hi, how are you?
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still at the whole. Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still at the whole world. Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still at the whole world at our feet, watching.
Hi, how are you?
Don't get that joke.
Hi, how are you?
Discord has gay, okay?
Eleven. Sick. Hey man, when you have that one feminist in it, and then say hey men.
Hey, beater. Okay, I'm done.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Alright, so since I'm done my part in that mega collab, now I can go back to making game I'll play for my level with the song Idols.
Hi, how are you?
Why do I participate in so many damn mega collabs, damn it? Or collabs, I should say. Alright, fine. Gosh. I'm gonna try.
Hi, how are you?
I'm gonna try my best to make my parts generic as possible. Do you mind if I do that? Would you? Okay, fine. So basically no glows on the sides or any of that pinwheel effect.
Hi,
I
how are
will,
you?
I will.
Hi, how are you?
Makes a... No, what if you turned a generic level
Hi, how are
into
you?
a 9 circles level? How would that be? What would that be like?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Yay, I love generic.
Hi,
Oh
how
god,
are
that'd
you?
be weird. No, it's like 9 circles effect, but it's
Hi, how
a
are
generic level.
Hi, how are you?
Sick
It's so
generic
generic.
level there, man.
That would be so weird,
how are you?
though.
Hi,
I
how
don't
are
think
you?
anybody's actually done that, though.
Hi, how are you?
I don't know. This
Hi,
doesn't
how
sound like
are
a
ya?
good idea.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are
11
you?
song.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Oh,
Hi,
yeah.
how
Generic colors with generic 9 circles. This is so stupid.
So, Jax, are you gonna kick me out if I don't finish it today? Because I can finish it tomorrow too.
Yes.
Rip.
Nah, I'm kidding. Alright.
Hopefully, my mom
Hi, how are you?
takes forever to do whatever she's doing right now, so I can have.
Hi, how are you?
I mean, my part in that mega collab was long, which is probably why it took me only 2 hours.
Hi, how are you?
7 seconds.
Hi, how are you?
I mean, it's actually. Hang on. My part was
Hi,
actually
how are
longer
ya?
than most of the parts here, though. That's surprising. It was as long as
Hi,
Texo
how are ya?
2's. It was longer than Splash. It was longer than Tutu Dara. It's longer than Slim Jim. My part is also longer than Zimnior's. It's longer than N levels, but Antares has the longest part, being over almost 30, or well, actually almost 40 seconds long. 40%. I meant not my part isn't. My part isn't 7 seconds. It's 7%. Yeah, it's 7%, not 7 seconds. That's okay. But the level is 1 hour and 45 seconds long. But they're also adding a beginning extension, so the level will be even longer than that. Mine's part of the actual level. I'm not sure who is gonna
Hi,
have
how
a
are ya?
part in the beginning extension. Antares already made extension, like the extension off from that was bridging off of
Hi,
the
how are you?
original level, so that was 65.6 to 100%. But now it's gonna be a lot longer than
Hi, how are you?
So let's see. The level is going to be 2 minutes and 50 seconds
Hi, how are ya?
long or so.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. I wonder. Bro, please help me. I'm a Nigerian homeless, uncut
Hey,
4K
hey,
foot
oh my
footage of
God.
bloodlust. I like that comment.
That's amazing.
Hi, how are you?
That's what it says.
Hi, how are
Bro,
ya?
please help. I'm a
Hi, how
Nigerian
are ya?
homeless kid who needs uncut 4K footage of bloodlust. I like that comment. I'm surprised it didn't make me laugh. though.
Hi, how are you?
Usually those types of comments make you laugh.
Yeah. That was one of those comments that would normally make me
Hi, how
laugh,
are ya?
but no.
Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
Nice.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
so... Yay!
Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Whoa.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Do, do, do,
Hi,
do,
how are you?
do, do, do,
Hi, how are
do,
you?
do, do.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Yeah, she got it wrong. It's
Hi,
virtual
how are you?
riot
Hi,
idols.
how are you? Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Super close.
Hi, how are you? Hi,
Superbly co-
Hi, how are you?
What?
Hi, how are you?
Your
Hi,
mom's
how are you?
superbly close.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
don't know.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
What?
You
Hi,
don't
how
go
are
cage.
you? Hi,
No,
how
I'm
are
not.
you?
I need mental help.
You need uncut
Hi, how are
4K
you?
footage of
Hi, how are
bloodlust.
you?
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Yes, I'm
Hi,
fine.
how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi,
Damn.
how are you?
Damn,
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
damn gay.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
I
Hi,
have.
how are you? Hi, how are you?
He has some.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Date.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi,
Make
how are you?
elevator music.
Hi, how
Oh,
are you?
he's
Elevator
mainstream.
Elevator music. Elevator music. I make elevating music. You make elevator music.
Sick.
Hey Rhino, do Rap God,
No.
please.
Oh, but it's for Scott, my.
No.
Revive me, bro. I have a ray gun. Here's your tracks.
Dude, I need to views video.
How to make inside of my thing or whatever the freak that I made, like they're completely white, like the Skyjax, what did you post?
That's the level complete screen in Geometry Dash 1,048,576 times.
Oh my god. Yeah, like just you see the deadlocked thing. Yeah, I just want to like the inside. Yeah, just the inside white.
Oh my god.
Holy
Little
dooly.
Smokes to the Super Mario 64.
Oh, smokes. Oh.
Hi, how are you?
Get it right.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, so I have to select the whole thing. And then I want to put skulls, set it as block design.
Hi, how are you?
This part, just that part I want to decorate. Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, sick. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. Calm yourself,
Hi, how
Chuck.
are you? Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
No.
Hi, how are you?
I wish I could stream.
Did you break your stream?
Did you break your Steve?
Did you? Oh my. Okay.
You broke your Steve, guys.
Sick. Oh.
Hey guys, and today I just broke my son. I need to go to hospital.
Donald Duck just got a. Anybody see this quacker? His name is Donald Duck.
Donald Cuck.
Donald.
Hi, how are you?
Donald Truck.
Hey man.
Hi, how are you?
Hey man, that's not cool, man.
Do.
Steam, why?
Time to
Steam,
blow
why?
up.
Steam,
Hi, how are you?
Steam, why?
Hi, how are you?
Steam, why? Oh.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, man.
Yeah, you do that.
Shut up, you piece
You know
of
what? Freak you! Freak
Hi, how are
you!
you?
freak you. This is a kid-friendly stream. I don't know what the freak you're saying, B.
Freak!
Yes, that is correct.
Bro, please help.
Hi,
I'm a
how are
Nigerian
you?
homeless kid who needs uncut 4K footage of Bloodlust.
Oh
I love
my
that.
god.
I just love that, man.
Wait, what's the name? Is it a sick ass name?
Is it a kick-ass name? Okay.
Oh. Wait, was that?
Ah. What?
Dislike. Hate Felix for him. It's
Belix.
Yep. Belix.
Belix.
Hi, how are you?
Belix.
Hi, how are you?
Dun. Trumpet? What's that? One kid who don't know what an instrument is. What type of trumpet was? What from? Yowzer. Frick.
Wow. Holy.
Glowzers. Stop
Quowzer.
Bowser.
Oh, you got me there, man.
What did you? Toast.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how
With
are you?
Thanatosing, seriously, you're like not
Hi, how are you?
included.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
When you can't make a good meme.
Hi, how are you?
When you can't make a good weenie.
Hi, how are you?
Whoa there.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Sick. We wish for Burger King. Donner.
You know what I wish for? A
Hi, how are
giant,
you?
sticky, hot mess of McDonald's.
That's what McDonald's is.
Exactly.
I feel like that's a better description of pizza than anything.
True, actually. McDonald's said
McDonald's
pizza, and that's what it would be.
McDonald's.
McDonald's pizza.
Of course, the pizza is the pizza for
Pizza.
you and me.
For you and me. The McDonald's pizza. The McDonald's pizza is the pizza
For you and me. When you make a 3-star level bloodbath difficulty.
Oh. Whoa!
Dun dun dun. Crab pizza is the pizza for
Pizza for you and me.
Ah, this got
Hi,
me
how are you?
Aw, he did.
red.
I cry.
Dun. Oh, are you okay?
No, I'm not. I just died. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
Permafrost.
Heck.
Trex, is that your dad?
Yeah.
Me. What the hell?
Heckle.
Heckle. Did you just heckle? Oh!
Yes.
Amazing. Krusty Krab pizza is the
pizza.
Say Krusty Krab pizza is What the frick? Can you stop cussing? No, Mom.
Can you stop cursing?
Josh's mom. Can you stop? Dear Josh's mom, can you stop complaining whenever the cat scratches you? Huh? Just making sure so it won't be like the last time where she goes, "Ugh," and she acts like it was that was funny.
Your mom is funny. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop being cancer.
Did she actually say
Hey,
that?
Texa, you wanna play some blow cocks?
Below Cox? Oh, no,
Yeah.
I can't. Part.
What?
Gotta finish my part.
Man, that's gay.
We wish for Burger King. Don. Mamma mia, pizzeria.
Mamma mia!
Pizzeria.
Baby got to go diarrhea.
Wait.
Mia, Papa Pia, baby got to go diarrhea.
Go like.
XT! Unable to win.
With eggs.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Surtrax. Hey, man.
what's poppin', B?
What's poppin', babe? What's poppin', Jimbo?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Stop being so shook.
Stop being so gay.
Me.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Stop being so gay. God.
Hi, how
A
are you?
faggot.
Bagel bagel.
Dun 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 dun.
Yay!
Ah. Boy. Boy.
Whoa. Boy.
Hi, how are you?
Sir Chucks.
Whose man's is this?
Oh. Okay, man.
Okay, Menzies.
Can you stop being Can you stop being cynical? Jesus.
Can you stop pyro-cynicaling?
When you pyrocynical, since when are you pyrocynical? Like you god or something?
Yes, I am the Yith God. Oh god.
Yeah, if god, oh my god.
Yith God? Oh my god.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my god, he just spinned. Jesus Christ.
It's
Compel
okay.
you. Dun 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 dun. Frick.
I'm a frick.
You not.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
No.
Frick, wrong button.
Trombone. Why are you so gay?
Dun, dun, dun.
Hi, how are you?
Mate boat. Okay. Hey there, mate boat.
Mate boat.
This call is getting boring.
Dun, dun. Dun,
Mate
dun.
bot.
Bot.
Mate bot.
Hey guys, it's your boy Josh here.
It's your boy Josh.
Hey guys, it's your boy
Let it go. Let it go now, weenie.
Why we?
Weenie. Cause
Wait, Sir Chucks, are you? Is Sir Chucks dead? Sir Chucks. Yeah, almost. I'm like halfway through.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry, it's just I keep like making things and sure it's actually working. Test playing. Sick.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Do 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 na na da na 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 na. Are you still streaming?
Hi,
Sick.
how are you?
Your mic cut out.
Hi, how are you?
Sir Chucks, when your next cooking stream?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Wait, is your mic not on for this stream? Is your mic not on for this? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh wait, I should probably add arrows. Oh wait, you can be in charge of that, right? Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of setting it up for you, so that's why. Sorry, I'm just so antsy. Oh,
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
I keep hearing Spanish.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Prick.
Hi, how are you?
What was that?
Hi, how are you?
Man.
Hi, how are you?
My bad.
Hi, how are you?
Surprise. Price how much?
Hi, how are you?
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll check it out later though. No.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Interesting.
Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
It's almost done. Patience. When you're consistent at refreshing. Sick.
Hi, how are
That
you?
made no sense, I'm sorry.
Hi, how are you?
If you wanna get with me, there's some things you gotta know. I like my beats fast and my bass down low.
Hi, how are you?
If you wanna get with me, there's
Hi. Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?
Yeah. What?
I'm gonna take your son.
Maybe. Why? Okay, cool. I'm not. I'm just trying to get it done.
About Steam?
No, just get in my room. Huh? I feel like my part looks really trash.
Hi, how are you?
What?
Hi, how are you? 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 Hi,
Hmm?
hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Ultimate Demon Mix? Really?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Nice, man. Not obstacle dash. Obstacle runner.
Hi, how are you?
You need to go. You need to go.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Hi, how
Nah,
are
I
you?
can
Hi, how are you?
do this
Hi, how are you?
as soon as I get home. Hopefully it's early tomorrow. Should. Okay. Well, I'll just get it done as soon as I come home. No. but I want to finish it first. Well, no, you're not. If I don't have it by tomorrow.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are
Swear.
you? Hi, how are you?
Sorry for being such a butt, but I have to go.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how Hi, how are you? 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 Hi, how are you?